The United States entered Vietnam with one of the most powerful militaries on Earth. Modern helicopters, heavy bombers, advanced weapons. So what did thousands of American soldiers come to fear? A forest? Not because the trees attacked them, but because the jungle seemed to make an entire army disappear. Patrols walked into the trees, then suddenly came under fire from enemies they couldn't see. Helicopters searched from above and found almost nothing. It was as if the jungle itself was hiding an invisible army. How could an entire battlefield simply swallow one of history's most advanced militaries? The answer wasn't just in the trees. It was hidden in the way the jungle completely rewrote the rules of war. At first, American commanders believed technology would solve the problem. Aircraft could spot enemy positions. Helicopters could move troops almost anywhere. Superior firepower would overwhelm guerrilla fighters. On paper, it sounded convincing. But once soldiers stepped beneath the jungle canopy, those advantages began disappearing. Visibility shrank to only a few meters. The thick canopy blocked much of what aircraft could see. Radios became less reliable in difficult terrain. Even finding the enemy became a challenge. But something even stranger was happening. The enemy wasn't just difficult to find. Sometimes, they seemed to vanish completely. American patrols often walked for hours without seeing anyone. Then, without warning, gunfire erupted from every direction. The attack lasted only moments. When soldiers fired back, there was often nobody there. How could hundreds of fighters appear, then disappear so quickly? At first, many blamed the jungle itself. But the real answer was even more unsettling. The Viet Cong understood that they didn't need to defeat America's technology. They only needed to stop it from being useful. Instead of fighting in open fields, they chose dense forests where visibility was limited and movement was slow. Every advantage America expected to use became harder to use. The battlefield had changed, and America was fighting by the wrong rules. Then the soldiers noticed something else. The jungle could injure them, even when nobody was shooting. Every path felt dangerous. Every step demanded caution. Only later did they discover why. Hidden beneath leaves and mud were carefully concealed traps. Some were simple pits lined with sharpened bamboo stakes. Others were triggered by a single careless step. Many weren't designed to kill immediately. A wounded soldier often required several others to carry him to safety, slowing the entire patrol. Soon, fear spread faster than bullets. The enemy no longer had to be visible. The possibility that they had prepared the ground was enough. But even these traps didn't explain the greatest mystery. Where did the attackers go after every ambush? Eventually, American forces uncovered something astonishing. The battlefield didn't end at the surface. Beneath the jungle lay an enormous network of tunnels. From above, the forest looked untouched. Underground, however, was an entirely different world. Hidden passageways connected supply depots, command posts, hospitals, kitchens, and sleeping quarters. Some extended for miles. Fighters could launch an attack, disappear into a tunnel within seconds, and emerge somewhere completely different. American troops could spend an entire day clearing an area, only to discover the enemy had never truly left. Now the disappearing soldiers finally made sense. But that discovery created an even bigger question. If the jungle itself was protecting this hidden world, could America simply remove the jungle? The idea sounded almost too simple. Take away the trees. Take away the enemy's hiding place. So the United States launched one of the largest defoliation campaigns in military history. Aircraft sprayed millions of gallons of chemicals, including Agent Orange, across large areas of Vietnam. Entire forests lost their leaves. From the air, it finally looked like the battlefield was opening up. For a moment, it seemed the strategy might work. But the jungle wasn't the only thing the Viet Cong relied on. They adapted, they shifted routes, expanded tunnel systems, used whatever cover remained. The hidden battlefield didn't disappear. It evolved. Meanwhile, the chemicals left devastating long-term environmental damage and serious health consequences for many people exposed to them, effects that continued long after the war. America had changed the landscape, but it hadn't changed the outcome it hoped for. And the jungle still had more weapons. The crushing heat exhausted soldiers before battles even began. Heavy rains transformed roads into rivers of mud. Mosquitoes spread disease. Leeches clung to uniforms. Equipment rusted. Weapons required constant cleaning just to keep working. Even helicopters, the symbol of American mobility, were sometimes grounded by weather and poor visibility. The environment wasn't merely uncomfortable, it constantly worked against the soldiers trying to survive inside it. By the end of the war, one lesson had become impossible to ignore. Victory doesn't always belong to the side with the most advanced technology. Sometimes the battlefield itself determines which advantages matter. Vietnam's jungle didn't fight the war on its own. The people fighting there made the decisions. But the landscape shaped almost every one of those decisions. It concealed movement, limited visibility, protected guerrilla tactics, complicated logistics, and forced one of the world's most powerful militaries to fight a war on terms it never expected. Sometimes, history isn't changed by a new weapon. Sometimes, it's changed by the ground beneath your feet.